How's it going, everyone? Emiliano Gonzalez here, and today we're going to make a very interesting things by transforming this admin dashboard into a React component, into a Next project. So the whole idea here is to recording this entire process as a way of how you can now transform is Adobe or any wireframe into React components so you can now not only implement all of these necessary components like navigations, uh, sidebars, main content, profile, uh, and all of this uh, functionality here, as well as all of these small cards and that kind of stuff, but also is to implement the underlying functionality and deploy that using, for example, Vercel or any of these hosting providers that is out there. So the goal of today's video is to record that process as a proof of knowledge and work. So first thing first, because I already here define what will be is the structure or the strategy that we're gonna take here. I wanna now bring it here. Right now, this is the way how I organize my days, okay? As a way to now have much more control over my time, this time blocking. Yeah, you got it. So yeah, here we're gonna define is what will be the strategy, okay? So strategy to take, strategy here, strategy for UI admin panel test. So first we're gonna is one set up the project, okay. Then define is the component definition, okay. Then the layout definition. So implementing now is the network layer, which means is this implementing is the end. So we're going to encode is the authorization header. In this case, we're gonna call here the service layer, okay. And then we go now to actually implement is the UI functionality. So this is implement, uh, or you can say UI implementation details of display the Jessica data, something that we're going to talk about that later. And the other is that UI implementation uh, of the implementation of the diagnostic history, okay, like this. Diagnostic history, which is something that we got here, the diagnostic history, the diagnostic list, as well as the lab results. So that's great. Diagnostic history, your implementation of the diagnostic history, diagnostic uh, list, and lab results. That is diagnostic list and lab results, right? So, okay, let me see if we can delete this here. There you go. All right, good. So first, we're gonna set up our project here. Now React actually recommend that to use this Next by default because it contains this router mechanism uh, where you don't actually need to use. So for example, if your React router, which is something that we use that for client-side navigation, we're just going to straightforward to create our new project here. Uh, So that's right. Let me now jump into the code. All right. There you go. So let me here now create or open up a new folder here. Or in fact, let me do something much better. Let me now create a, we can say here, yeah, let me create here a test folder. It's a test cd test. I mean, making directory, making dir, getting to this test folder, open up here the code, Visual Studio Code. All right. And now, I want you to now show is this. All right, cool, awesome. Okay, so here we don't have anything right now. In fact, we're going to use this the command provided by the React docs to spin up a next framework. Okay, then you're going to ask you for a couple things. First things first, I want to know if which node version I'm currently at. I'm version 20, which is great. Okay, version 20 of Node. That's powerful. That's great. Uh, now, so you can see what I'm doing much better. So yeah, it'll tell you, hey, I would like to install is the version 14, not 13. Okay, so let's do it. What is your project name here? We're gonna call it is hospital dashboard, right? Hospital with L, hospital dashboard. Yes, I would like to use TypeScript. Please help me with linking my code. Yes, Tailwind for this UI component. Would you like to use source? No. Uh, no. I would like to use is the app router, which is now any folder that you define inside of that. Next will be used behind the scenes as the navigator, the entry point to navigate, or the point to navigate in your application. So yes, we like to customize the default import alias. No. All right. As you can see, it installs all of this necessary dependencies. React, React DOM, which is the combo. Uh, the next, which is now is our own React framework that contains all of the building tools on TypeScript, Node, React, PostCSS. It's also installing that. Okay. PostCSS, which is the library that allows us to use a new CSS syntax in older browsers. So you can think of PostCSS as pretty much the Babel but for CSS. Tailwind, which is our UI element. Uh, Again, Tailwind tell us is how we can write a CSS file. In this case, how can we write this tiny little CSS class? And behind the scenes is now compile all of that to generate a single minified version of your CSS. So far, so good. Here, the ESLint, all right, as a way to now link our code following is a particularly recommendation. And the ESLint config, which is now is the way how you want to link your code, but with this tooling uh, set, or this tooling change that provide Next. Okay, cool. Here, this is the folder structure, where inside of this we define is our pages and layout. So when we go here into our hospital dashboard, right? Uh, the folder structure here is something that we're quite familiar with, right? So in our app is where we define all of the routes when we want to show. Pretty much is like what is be whatever is on the uh, in the slash or before the slash on the URL. Okay. Public is going to define all of your public assets or any assets that you're going to use. Uh, so ESLint source, uh, part of the linting or code. This is a file to tell Git, hey, ignore all of this file. This is where you're going to define all of your next environment variables as a way to now pass some hidden property or some secrets that you want to go with. This is part of the powerhouse of Next, when you're going to define what are the things that you want to, for example, uh, which one of rendering mode would you like to go with? Static or server-side rendering or client-side rendering. The package JSON here, you can take some script as a way to run this on development. When you're ready, I want you to now build that. The product is an optimized output. And then now from that start, my server with this optimized build, and then some linting process here. As a way to say, hey, is everything correct? Is everything great? Good. So the dependencies and the def dependency here. Post CSS again because you want us to now. This is like the Babel uh, CSS. Okay, the readme here now it tells you. So if you want to take a look now, how this should look like. No, I think it's this. This is it's gonna tell you is like, hey, uh, what are the things that you need to do in order to run this project? Right? This is the next project. You can run this. You can use Yarn or PnP or Bun. Each one of them are package manager. I really like the PnP because unlike EMP, npm or Yarn, PnP is say, hey, instead of actually installing whole dependency per project, it's going to now store them on disk and have a reference to that anytime we want to use them. And if any of, but we're going to assign that per project. And if we need that, for example, uh, per project, we're not going to download all of that necessary application or necessary dependency. In fact, if we already download the dependency, we're going to point that to there. And if we need a new dependency, we're going to download that with minimal change here, and then point and make our project points to that. This is, in other words, being memory efficient. Pretty much it's like how the prototype object programming works. Is that, but in case of functionality, here is with dependencies. Okay, I'm not gonna dive into too much. It's actually quite interesting things to do that. But in any case, here we are. So this is how now we can run our project, and then we're going to deploy this on Vercel. Awesome. So let's go to run this project right now quickly. Here we're using npm. I would like to use this, but for this demo, it's gonna use npm run def. Bam. Here you are. It's now bundling not only the client side but also the server side. It say, hey, I'm ready. And if we take a look now here, there you go. All right. So far so good. So we did it. We already set up our project, which is good. Next one, component definition. Since we're going to use this now tailwind here, if we're going to use now tailwinds here, I want to know is how can we define is our components based on the wireframe, this. So here we definitely going to need is a NavBar and some sidebar here that we're going to define. Okay, so here we're going to define is the NavBar. We're going to define is the, what's going to call this patients list component, diagnosis history, diagnostic list, lab results, and profile. Okay, profile component. So far we got is one, two, three, four, five, six components. Uh, and let's go. Yeah. So this is um, navbar, and then we got is the patient list component. Uh, the other is diagnostic history. So diagnosis history. Okay, patient list, diagnosis history, and diagnostic list, diagnostic list. And you got this diagnostic lab. I mean lab results. Let's put it that way. So lab results. Okay, and then the profile. And then profile patient. Sorry. You can say is a patient's profile. Oh my God, what is patient patient's profile? Pretty much this is our component, right? So let's go. Let's jump to our code to define those components. So first, we're gonna go with the navbar. And in the navbar here, I'm gonna close this. I would like to now open is my explorer. That's right. We're gonna define is under here the folder called component. Okay, where here we're gonna define is this. We're gonna create is now a file called navbar.tsx. Okay, and here we're gonna say okay. What will be the, let me define here is the the React component in a functional way, which is, let me now define this on a const that will be called a navbar. Okay, it should be called like this, navbar, because this is our the name of our component. Okay, yeah, I think this is the way. Mhm. Exactly. Okay, and yeah, come on, so you got it. Okay, navbar. So here, this is after all a function. Okay, where we're going to return now here is, we're using parentheses as a way to analyze this. So here we want us to now show something interesting. I want to now show this. Let me see the page layout. Do you have a what is the page? Okay. All right. So we actually get a navbar here from okay. So now let's take a look at this. You're not able to see what I'm doing. Help me here. Okay. So we want this to is a navbar. We want in fact want a navbar. Do we have any navbar component here that we can have access? Right? Like a navbar here. That's right. Yeah, some sort of basic navbar required. Okay, like this. All right. Can you give me that in? Oh, exactly. Oh, that's good. That's great. Give me this now in React, so I don't need to actually create that for the for myself. It has now used something called disclosure button. So it seems that we need to import is not only React, um, but also is a headless UI React as hero icons. Okay, okay. Export default function here, as well as their classes here. And then disclosure panel. All right. So this is how it's going to look like. Pretty much this, similar to our design here. Okay. Uh, we're here. Oh, we got already all the icons. Okay, that's a great thing. That's good. That's good. Totally. hmm Okay. So we're going to download this asset. That's right. So download this asset. We'll also download this another asset from home. And also this another asset here from patients. Okay. From schedule. From message. And from transaction. Okay. Cool. Cool. There you got it. And also this one. Mm, Come on. Okay. Not that much. And also this one. All right. What is this? Oh my God. What is this? Mm, okay. This one. Okay. So now that we got all of the assets that we're going to add that. Uh, Okay, all right. It's gonna get all of this as well as this as part of our assets here. It's gonna copy this. A better way to do this would be to drag and drop all of these elements inside of the public. Okay, which will be much more appealing. All right, and then what we're also gonna do is to now uh, get this, get this component from that, and let's go to tweak that behavior. So now we're gonna export here this as the NavBar. Okay, so of course it's gonna throw some errors here. Okay, so follow me along here with the code. It will throw some errors because it make use of this. But actually we don't need, for example, a lot of these things. So we don't need is, um, for example, the icons. We already got them. We don't need is the import, you know, uh, acknowledging of the fragment. You just only need to know is the navbar here, the disclosure, but I think this is something that they use exactly. Hmm. Okay. So anyway, yeah, because there is a lot of components we're using here, is that this might not work as expected. So in fact, you might need is to at least install the headless UI React thing as a way to make all of this work. So that's it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Where's the GitHub here? Mm-hmm. All right. Just gonna stop this. Installing the latest headless UI uh, that works at this moment. Okay. So far so good. We're now going to run the project here and then add that navbar component to the page here. So instead of actually running this here, we're going to now import is our navbar component. So navbar components here. Then if we now take a look at our component here, overload this, we should be able to load that as it is. There's some errors, no problem. Uh, Error functions are not valid as child or client components. This may happen in return children from render. Oh, this is now part of the next stuff here. When it tells me kind of like that as navbar. Mm-hmm. Functions are not valid. Oh, okay, because it has a particular way to pass this, and that is We're going to define const navbar as a function, okay? And then is when you're going to export this, export default as navbar. So once you're able to do that, it's a, okay, that'll work. We're going to rerun this again. And reload on our browser. And it's telling us the same error here. Error functions are not valid as child of client component. Wait a single moment. Where did I install? Exactly. I installed that properly. But now it's telling me here is the navbar children function children. Hmm. Oh, because you're expecting. Okay, no. I don't expect you to. Okay, that's right. I don't expect you to render any content there. Hmm. Because when you're trying to render that, something missing there. Oh, because since we're in the layout here, since we're in the layout here, okay. Because the main issue is here. It's because how I am rendering it exactly. But because if the page component here, okay, again, this is part of how this component, yeah, this is the way how I get this component. That's what happens. This is because the way how I get this component. All right. Mhm. All right. This is from Tailwind. Give me this in plain HTML, bro. Much better. Give me this in plain. Give me this in plain HTML, bro. So don't give me any fancy things here. No, no, no. Give me only this plain HTML. Plain HTML. I'll handle all of the functionality if I think I need to and that kind of thing. And for any instance you find here, okay, mm, okay, exactly, exactly. Replace all of this. Mm-hmm. All right. There's an error here. Hmm. Like the NavBar is not being properly formatted. I prefer to use this dot prettier here. Yeah. Okay. When expected nav token, expected GSS identifier. Yes. Yeah, the thing is like, hmm, you know, the thing is, That's funny, or not that funny. What is that? Oh, I think it's, yeah, I think the problem was more like, okay, here, something like this. Exactly. All right. Yeah, it was more like the way of how you define your syntax. Exactly. Like NavBar here, syntax error. It tells me. Hmm, caused by nav class name. Unexpected token nav. Really? Why you don't expect that? Why not? Why not? But nav exists. Really? Oh, but okay. There is something here that you don't detect. Okay. No problem, no problem, no problem. Okay. So it means that you will, so you detect that. Just is that inside of this there is something that is wrong or not properly defined. Perhaps those comment might be. Perhaps those comments. It's like you don't accept that. Okay. Yeah, you don't accept those comments. That's fine. No problem. Okay. And then you got is this one. And then this. No. And this should work as a text. Exactly. You don't accept is none of those comments. Okay. No problem. So now we should be able to render that as expected. Okay. That's cool. As you can see here, okay, so as you can see here, let me now help you to, so as you can see here, we are now able to show this particular uh, navbar. So because the way how we are importing that is here, which is inside of this container. So we don't want to import it. In fact, we want to import it outside of that. So let's get it to that. So we can now quickly change the layout here and say, okay, I want you to now show this but it's on the body here by saying something like this. First, from this layout, I want to import is this component. Okay, let get rid of this. All right, and then import this component at the layout level. So that's quite interesting because when we can see that, now we're actually showing that properly. So far so good. Now it's going to now add in the proper styles to that, right? Based on the yeah, based on this. Unfortunately, this doesn't export is the code, or do we? Yeah, you don't export is the code or the HTML. Yeah, no problem. But what we can do here is to add some of the functionality that we need to. So first thing first, we're going to start to adding all of these components here, the overview, page, and the campaign, as it is. Okay, that is here. There's a way to render each one of those components here, and the name of them, which is overview, patient. So overview, patient, schedule, message. Okay, message. This is one of the things that I don't like about this. Message and transaction. Message and transaction. And transactions. Okay, cool. All right. So if we want to now show those elements properly, uh, because at the end of the day, each one of them has a SSV. Anyway, we can now do this thing. Okay, we can now add it. Okay, there's a challenge here. As a way to show all of this, you got is first this element that we want to display, the touch care. Let's go for it. Touch care will be replaced with this one. Okay, but the things here, we got now this way of how we tell our components uh, to be, which is center. We don't want you to be center, my friend. Okay, so I want you to now remove this um, max auto, and in fact I want you to now get that is like so. I want you to expand that completely. That's right. So I want you to expand that completely. Okay, and add some margin to them. Say margin, okay, as it is. Okay, so the background of this content, why you don't want to show it, what you're going to make is the background, okay, where you say now the page, specifically the body, inner class, mm, 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 and on the global, we can use define is our base functionality where our background color it will be something like this, like so. Hmm. Let me rerun that. Anytime you change here the global, like for some reason we still that particularly noisy background here. Oh, there must be some SVG elements there that actually is anyway. There might be some elements there that actually setting that. You know what I mean? Um, allegedly is this, okay? So for some reason, okay, which there's nothing wrong with that background, but this is not the background that we want to, you know? In fact, we want is this background. But there's something element, there is an element here that is actually is on top of that, or that is behind the scenes. So it's because the main component. Okay, so in the main they have something funny here. Oh, it's because they have this image. Is it? Maybe the main. In the main they have some sort of spelling conflict. The themes exactly background image. Okay, there you got it. There you got it. No, 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 no. That's right. We don't need that. Thank you, but no thanks. Exactly. And they have some background here. We don't need that. Thanks. Okay, so now, finally, we can actually is go to the navbar and say, hey, I want you to add some padding here. In fact, I don't want you to make this black. This is white, something like that. So I'm gonna put it here like white. Now I started to change, which is good, which is good. Would like to be white, exactly as it is, and then add some padding to it. Let's add padding to all of these elements here, which is 8. And sorry, my bad, it's margin. We want to add a margin to this. That's right. So far so good. We add this margin here, and then I want you to now give me this with a border, a round border, rounded as large. Something more. Put it here. Put it here. Rounded extremely. Oh, but this is no. I want you to apply that in both sides. Isn't this? Now it's starting to look like as the design. You know. Here we can add inside of this a little bit of padding here. That's right. So now it's starting to look like quite the same somehow. Something. Okay. Perhaps that's too much padding. Okay. Perhaps that's too much padding. But here we want to now have much more fine control about our padding. So I want you to now add padding on the G, on top and bottom, about 2, and padding on left and right, 2, 4, right? Okay, margin G and mhm, okay, all right. So far so good, right? And margin in X like 4. All right. So far so good. Now it's time to actually add this particular um, SVG, okay, where we're gonna say, hey, I want you to now is add the, I think it's test logo, right? Oh, this is the notifications. And this is on hidden small. Okay. So here we want to show is this. First, open main. The in our case is okay. Class name actual hidden. Open main. I think this is when you want to show this in small. That's right. This is when you want to show now is the proper image here. Okay, that's right. Okay, and here is what we're going to show is now those elements as it is. That's where there you go. Okay, cool, cool. Something like this. Um, Patience and that. Here we want to not pass is the SVG icon as a property for all of them. Okay. As a property for all of them. Where here we want us to import now is those components here. For example, the overview, which is home. So import I think they have a particular way to do that. Oh, okay. Okay. So we can make use of this as image here. That's right. And interesting. So copy paste. image here. So if you use now, for example, image here, in here on this, on this component, do something like this. Then you pass it, for example, this image here. Image in the version. You're gonna pass it this just for demo purpose. That's logo here. And then you paste here where we should be able to load that as it is. Oh, because now they are inside, sorry. They're now inside of this. So once you want to run this, it actually doesn't run the proper element. Oh, here we go. Oh, fuck. Oh, mm, mm. Oh, fucking hell. What about this? Are you going to whine for that? What the flying fucking this? It failed to load that element because this element here stroke line with stroke line cap. Oh my god, mm-hmm. Invalid done properly stroke with. Did you mean stroke with? But here we don't have any. Oh my god. You know what? Import this thing from image. No, 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 no. You wanna behave like that? But look, fine for you. Yeah, it's like fine for you. Mm-hmm. Okay, as long as you can load that, it doesn't load it. But you're not able to know that, my friend, because you say, hey, there's something wrong here with the HTML boundary. Okay, because now the issue here is with the way how you are interpreting that, okay? And unfortunately, the best way to do this is by just putting this as it is inside of this component. GSX namespace is disabled by default because React does not support it yet. Okay. Again, working with SVG has been quite of a pain. Okay. Mm, okay. Okay. No, no problem. No problem. Okay. No problem. hmm Okay. We got some couple issues here with working with SVG. hmm Which is in fact something that it actually is not valuable, for an indication. So to import it next using third party, Babel plugin SVG. Exactly, with the image tag. Exactly. No, no. Simple. Simplify. 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 Simplify my life. It's like, hey, I want you to know, take a look at the uh, test logo, bro. That's all. That's all. That's all. That's all, bro. That's all. That's all. I want now the simple way to actually add that logo here. You say no, it's missing. I cannot find that image. Oh, it's images. What about this? Nope, no problem. No problem. Reload this again, and now let me take a look at that. Image, hospital public, image public, but it tells me that, hey, it's not there. Um, Quite interesting because for some reason you're adding in the image, hospital dashboard, public image, that kind of thing. And funny thing is that I didn't tell you to add all of this. So it's your inner mechanism on how you can do it. You know? So we have to tell you, hey, where is this? It's on public, uh, image, Tesla, right? It tells me, hey, yes, but I couldn't load that. That's quite silly. That's quite silly. That's quite silly. Because the only thing that I want you to do is to load that image from there. When it comes to look at this, it say, hey, there's some property here that is doesn't match that, like this. And the funny thing is that I don't have any of this property that you mentioned. You know what I mean? Invalid on property stroke with. That's quite interesting. That's quite. hmm If this doesn't exist, What are you doing? That's the question. If this doesn't exist, what is the thing that you're doing behind the scenes because you don't want to import that SVG icon? hmm But it's telling me this. No, it's telling me this is like from Next. And then on your Babel source, which is a transpiler. Okay. And then on the transpiler here, you say something like this. Copy here, the Babel source, Okay, and then you do is things like this. You add now the source to this. So when you run this, of course, you have to be there. So when you tell to now, oh my god, where do you install it? So, oh, because you're using behind the scenes that particular building tool. Mm-hmm. I get it. Ooh, motherfucker. Okay, now I get it. It failed because it's using it a different one. Okay, let me now do and find this here. Eh, okay, I get it because now we're using it another transpiler, and the using behind the scenes is the SWC transpiler. Okay, no problem, no problem. Get preset. Oh no. But this is because they're using is SWC, another build tool for that. Oh my god. Okay, SWC, bro. So the thing here is because you're using battle preset, then you're going to, but now you're changing the inner behavior for that. That's another way to do this. Okay, that's another alternative here, which is, hey, on that particular SVG, here inside of the public, uh, put it this way, as a way to pass that proper format. So when you now run this, okay, and you actually is reload this, we're now using is that, but it's still not loading that image as it is. In fact, it throws an error here about the proper namespace. Okay, data name here. hmm Because now is this particular GSX format. Okay, okay. Hmm. The thing here is this work? It doesn't work as a way to load all of the components. Okay. hmm You're not helping me here because you still have that particular issue when it comes. Okay, okay, okay. So we need to find a way now to say, hey, GSWC, I want you to detect those for me. You know what I mean? That's what happened. Okay. Let me put it this way. Let me actually now attach that here, and instead of going there with an image, okay. Let me actually, what are the things that you are complaining about? You know what I mean? I want to know what are the things that you're complaining about. You know what I mean? I want to know what are the things that you're complaining about. Split path. Okay, that exists. But then when I want you to render that, you crash it. Exactly, you crash it. You say the style prop expect mapping the style property of value, not on a string. For example, style margin. So the style for that expect you to map in something. Are you happy? Okay. 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 I think one padding element. Hmm. Okay. It's because okay, it's due to some format error here. Okay. Okay. That's okay. Okay. We got some errors. We got some error, but that is due to how we are now importing it. Okay. Okay. There's an error here, but it's this is with the format. Okay. 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 This is with the format here. So transform for the following SVG into a valid React um, SVG format. Okay. So by doing this, what we're doing is just to getting all of these icons and transform them into something that is valid. Exactly, into something that is valid, into something that is JavaScript valid. Okay, okay. No, because you lack of more. Fuck off, man. So now when we want to finally lower the icon, Jesus, it's something that is not that, that's quite annoying, by the way. So bloody annoying. God damn it, man. That's quite annoying. That's very, very annoying of you. It's like, okay, you got this specific way to load that. I'm telling you to load that component, and not only that, it's like you're not going to load that. You need to reload this. Let me get out this here. Save this. Run this. Okay? Wow, god damn, how horrible, or how, yeah, it's like how sneaky is to work with this component. It's like, wow, it's like very, very quite annoying to work with this component. My god, it's necessary to work with this component. It's necessary to work with this component. It's like, what in the F, bro? My god, Jesus. Anyway, we got this. Mother F. This is very hard. Okay, it's very particular in the way how you work with this. Like, holy moly. Anyway, mm, They are horrible to work with. Yes, freaking Christ. Anyway, yeah, it's like, oh my God. Okay, working with SVS component is quite annoying. It's quite annoying. No, man, don't do that again. No, exactly. Okay. Okay. So now that we properly load this logo here, okay. All right. Good. We're gonna do the same for the other logos as well. Oh my, yeah, that was quite horrible to work with, but doesn't matter. but it doesn't matter. Oh my god. Okay. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. Okay. Working with SVG is quite messy. It's quite horrible, but it was a learning experience. Oh goddamn. All right. Okay. Okay. Good. So now let's go with the other components here, which is organizing this. Here, what we're gonna do is to say, hey, I want you to now display each one of those elements, but it's in a flexbox way. Exactly. And here you say, hey, let me now take a look at this way how you can organize this with Tailwind. With Tailwind actually has now, I want you to get all the available space here for that. Which means that now that we put the test logo here, I want you to get the full width block that, which means that you take all the available space required. That's right. And now put those elements here on the center, which means I want you to now create a flex again, where now each one of those elements there where now each one of those elements there, okay, I want them to be is um, justify center. That's right. And that they have now the proper alignment. Align center. As well as they have space width, you know, which is um, I want each one of them has a layout there. Part of the layout there, which means the justify content in each one of those. Exactly. Which means that each one of those elements that we're going to show them here will have that, you know. Justify center and align center and item center. So when you run this, I would like that, but I want to each one of those elements has a particular gap between them. Okay, and you may wonder, hey, how can I do that? I do that at this particular level. I do that at this particular level. When I say, hey, each one of them will have a margin on X, okay, of 4. So you can see each one of them will have. Justify between and align center. Okay, alignment here. Exactly. There is align item. Align item star, item center, item center. Okay, I get it. Because they have one level up. Okay. Items in. Anyway, here the design doesn't matter too much. After all, it's going to move on to the next one, which is now loading all of these components here. Okay, which is that what we want to do that. Okay, here we want to render all of this element as it is, like so. So here we're gonna say is, hey, I want you to now render this element here, but doing in this way. So do you remember this thing's called navigation? Good, because I want you to know render is that proper element order. Well, now the first element we'll have is the name overview here. This is navigation.map. Okay, what you're gonna have is the, or you're gonna call it uh, for routes. Okay, so routes. So here you're gonna have is the route, where inside of this you say, hey, you know what? I want you to render this element here, and I want you to render this in this fashion. You're going to return is now an element like this. Okay, so instead of doing this, we're gonna now show is an element like this. Right? No, no pill, no bottom, no any of that shit. Small font size. Here's what you're gonna render is now the route. Okay, so it's gonna render route dot name period. It needs a property called key. Well, for demo purpose, we're gonna use the route.id, the AV, that it comes from this JavaScript function. So far so good. And now when we take a look at this, it will render the overview. Awesome, no problem. And when we say on hover, it's gonna show is this kind of thing, right? That's all. And that behaves. Whereas on hover, it will be like this. Okay, something like that. Good. Good. So after that, okay, now we want to render the other elements there, which is all of this, which means that okay, no, 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 no. I'm running out of options. This is to change from the position. How can I? No, it's not Alt. It's not Shift. No, Shift Alt. No, because it created a new instance. Alt Command. Okay, Alt Command. Alt Command. You say this one. Okay, much better. Powerful. Powerful feature. Okay, powerful feature. Good. Okay. Now this is what we're gonna do. Right. So now this is exactly what we're gonna do. Overview patient schedule there. That's all. We don't care about the others. Okay. And in fact, we're gonna do this. Okay. Review patient schedule message transactions. That's great. So far, so good. We want to show them as active. So if we want to create a conditional here for this, we say, hey, is the route that uh, current is true? You know, if the route that current is true, so what you're going to show, okay, if the route current is true, okay, what you want to return is this one, right? Is this one, exactly. Otherwise, return is this one. Green 500. Exactly. Thanks. Okay. All right. So this is only the navigation here. This is only for the navigation. So far so good. And we're also going to show now is because it's still okay. Is it okay? So far so good, right? Awesome. So we define this component here. Okay. Um, and now it's time to import all of this SVG component, which we're gonna do here is to, well, do this. First is the home. Let me see if I can, if this actually works without actually to modify that. You know what I mean? Let me see if I can actually make this work. Where you're gonna have it like this here. Okay. That instead of this you're gonna hold is this. Exactly. Here. No problem. That's a way to React can keep track of these elements. Those identifiers should be unique and independent from your index. They should come from the backend. And then we get down is this. So and we create this. Okay. As we create this component here, I also would like to add is an image here, right? An image that I would like you to get that from the public slash image and the proper SVG, which is now the Islam name here that we got here. It say I will throw an error because exactly they are not properly formatted. No problem. No problem at all. So let me actually transform this into a valid component. Since we JavaScript here. You may wonder, do you have to do this for every component? For our particular case, yes we do, because we're doing this that with our navigation. So we transform then into a home component by saying now, hey, I want you to say this to the home icon, okay? And we change that to TSX, okay? We put that instead of the icons here, home icon, there you got it. We now can successfully import that as a component, and then it will behave as it is. Say home home icon, there you got it, and this is it, right? Cool. So far so good. It will actually render the proper component here, which is here. Of course, there's a layout issue, but at the end of the day, we are actually loading as expected. So, because here we want us to now render this component, okay, particularly is the home component, and here's when you say, hey, I want you to know render is this component route.svg icon, and I want to do that here as well by adding you to this, wrap this component here into a div, okay, and provide now this access field, reload it, oh, there's a missing, exactly, it's because it's this. Exactly. So you can evaluate this. You say, do this. There's a way to evaluate that. Are we good? Are we not? Why not? Oh, because we are here. We don't need that. It's there. We need that instead here. Exactly. But there is a problem here when we are getting this. It's like, hey, you're not get this here. Okay. It's because the closing thesis. Always human error. In fact, there is no need to do this. It was just a human error. Anyway, this one that you got it, so you're evaluating it properly as it must. There you got it. So now you're gonna show that properly. Exactly. As it is. Good. No problem. So render this icon here and the other. Oh, because it behaves like a block. Nope. All right. Okay. Good, 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 good. Technicism. Technicism. Because now they must be is as flex element. That's interesting. You're not loading. No problem. Rerun this again. Okay. So now we finally can render those elements one after the other. Okay. So you got it. Reload this. And it's not loading as it is. So I suggest you to load it as expected. Because now it's telling me this. Hey, can you please load that in the proper order that I'm telling you? Because this is not the order in which I am telling you to render those elements. Will you? Okay, you get stuck. No problem. No problem. No, no, no problem. No problem. No problem. No problemo, amigo. No problemo. Open up that thing again. It seems that you have something in catch, which is something that I don't like you to do that. Let's go. Let's go again. Okay. Let's do this again. Okay. For some reason, you're not loading it the proper component as I'm telling you. You are loading it as you think it is. Okay, and I get it. Why is that? Okay. Do that and run through this as it is. Okay. So far, so good. We're telling you that this is something that we would like you to show that as a flexbox. There you got it. Much better. Okay. So things are starting to work as expected. Align, what you can say is item center, item center. Okay. Much better, which is good. All right. Another interesting thing that we can do is to say, hey, I want you to add that as part of this component here. The same for this. The same for this. Like you say, item center. And I want you to now add that here. The problem with this approach is that it will try to add that as it is. And since we are now, one is in fact adding an element right after the another. Okay, similar to this as well. Since we want to add those elements right after the another, the thing here is that, well, let's going to do that. So let's going also to let's going also to define is now this particular approach, which is defining here a flex here. So if you define that, it says good, but it doesn't enter completely. So what if I say a flex? All right, where here I can say, hey, you know what? There is no need for this component. And we're going to add is a padding to the right, not padding right of two, padding left, I mean. So the class name padding left, padding right two, and then you got it as it is. So this is in fact what we want is to actually do. We're gonna add the key here as it is. We're gonna get rid of this element. Thank you so much for access. Okay. Uh, and pretty much that's what we're gonna do here as it is. But now, instead of doing this, since this is the element selector, we're gonna say, hey, make it teal 300 as the background. I'm not sure what the teal is. Okay, 500. 500. You know, teal 500. Make now the text white, and there you go. So now that we did this, all right. Next thing is to actually transform all of those components for this. For example, the patients. What is the name of the patients there? Group, the same group. Transform this component into something that is relevant. Anyway, there you got it. Schedule message and that kind of thing. Now I want you to transform this one. That's right. The same for group icon. The next element is for the, wow, I can barely see, bro. The next element is the calendar. Okay, similar for the calendar. Group icon. That's right. I'm gonna move that to the group icon. Group icon, but as the uh, GSX, TSX. Put it here on the icon. Listen to add that to the navigation bar and say here, this is now this component we want to add, which is the group icon. There you got it. So we're gonna do the same for now the calendar. Okay, you know, all of these things started to become repetitive, which is now where now, well, this is the part where JavaScript and particularly ChatGPT can help us vastly with. You know, we can automate this particular process, okay, and say, hey, this is now the calendar today icon. So calendar icon, the TSX. We move on to the under the icon. We update that first. We save that group icon. So now we're gonna do is the schedule, and then I want you to import that calendar icon here, the calendar today icon. Okay. We're going to do the same for the message, which is now here on the message chat bubble. Do the thing here for this. Mm-hmm. So this is patient, schedule, message, and that kind of thing. It will generate is now this one. Okay, so we copy and paste this to say, hey, this is not the chat bubble icon. To say chat bubble icon as a TSX. And then I'll put that under the icons here, and then let's going to import this as it is. So like calendar, not like bubble, chat bubble icon, and the same for the transaction, which is a credit card. We save this. Now we were able to see this, the schedule, and message, and transaction. The thing slowly now to make sense of this. Oh, it's actually raining. So thing as you can see slowly to have much more sense here. Oh, okay, I get it. And you slowly start to match the design for this. Let me in fact put it this way. And also, let me make all of these things like rounded form. That's one of the great things of that you have now much more control with, yeah, you have a lot of control with this. You have a lot of control on how it's going to look like, which is actually quite decent, quite good, quite well. You know, that's one of the reasons with this is like now the interface will look like way much more aligned to, you know, that's one of the powerful things of this. If you can take a look now at the other elements here on the from here, okay, because I know you say, hey, Dr. Simon's here. Let me put this with some fake data here, you know. In this case, let me actually get rid of the notification icon here, okay. Okay. Uh, and now here, because you want to now add something similar to this design, like so, well, you can actually do that without any problem. So here we want to show any of this, which is great. We want us to remove that. We want to show you this as it is. Okay. We also need to transform the transaction here component. Copy. Gonna paste this. Gonna change this to transaction or credit card icon. We change the name and then we say, hey, this will be called like this. Change the name extension. add it to the icon, move on, NavBar, we add that now to the uh, credit card icon, we append it, and now we are able to see them here as it is. We can also add some text to this. Okay, let me see if you can actually see what I'm doing exactly. We can add some text to this, but thanks to this particular component. In that case, on the tailwind, in the case is by looking now at the tailwind. So tailwind components here, and then you want to take a look now at something like, all right, let's make this the media, media objects, something like that. Right, what we want to show is this kind of content like this, media objects. Okay, what about list? What about list? Okay, what about any component that we can actually use? Well, if it doesn't provide that, doesn't matter. We can make use of our own. Yeah, we can make use of our own. And that is, well, we can provide a layout for this image, right? And we say something like this. Okay, so we have now this element here. We can even wrap this as this one. What we're going to show is next to this element is all of this icons here. In this particular case, the text, this particularly relevant text, by wrapping them into its own list, where here we say, hey, I want you to make this as a flex, all right? And I want you to now show this content that is inside of this as another this. You say, hey, this is a class name as another flex here. And I want you to show these elements one after the another. So in other words, you're saying here that, hey, this is the name of this, Dr. Simon. Okay, so this is the doctor, so Dr. Jose Simon, right? Dr. Jose Simon, that's one of them. Uh, Next, the other element is the general practitioner, another one. Say general practitioner, prac practitioner, general practitioner. And I want you to now show each one of those elements one after the other. Say with full, all right, as well as this with full. So now in our layout, it will show this as it is. That's right. wanted to show is uh, flex uh, flex flex row. What I mean is that it's not there. That's right. It's flex row as it is. But because we are wrapping that under this thing, exactly. So now we want is to indicate to the browser, hey, I want you to make these two elements, okay, that we're going to show here, to take all the available space and make it one after, so one uh, after another. In other words, one at the top of the another. So to do that, we here explicitly say flex flex wrap. That's a property. Flex wrap. Exactly. Flex wrap. And there you go. Good. 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 So now instead of even doing something like this, because if you don't do that, it will take all the file available space. And if we want to actually provide is a particular width to this element, we can easily say that, okay, you can easily get that by saying, hey, you know what? I want you to make this width 16, if that exists. I think it is. But so what to provide is a fixed width. You know what I mean? When we take a look now on here, on the width, here, the main is width, exactly. This one, exactly. And you say, hey, what you do now is make this with with four with with 20. And then you got, you provide this fixed thing here. I mean, I want to make this 24 for any of this width that is provided to us. For 28, perhaps 23. But now here we can say, okay, you know what? All of these items, I want you to put it on the center. That's right. And not only that, I want to make this text uh, size. Not sure what is the property here. Text size. Okay. Text small here. Or I can provide perhaps a little bit more space. Let's say, hey, we'll provide 64. Something like that, not that much. All right. 50 doesn't exist. No problem. 40. Yeah, something like this. 44. Something like this. Exactly. There you go. All right. That's good. That's cool. Um, and then we can provide is the functionality like this. So this particular icon, which is now the settings, and we transform is the setting into its own particular icon. Okay, do that for settings, and also do that for more. Let me actually drink some water here. Really? Mm, okay. Yeah, please. Generate a valid React component from, yeah, generate a valid React component from the following SVG. Okay. Now they're streaming the data. They are streaming. Now they're dealing is with huge amount of load, huge amounts of load, huge amount of load, bro. So now this is the setting icons. Okay, setting icons. uh, Setting icons here. Okay, setting icons here. We change this to setting icons TSX. Okay, once we move this setting icon to this, we save it, we add it to the navbar, and then we say, hey, you know what? It's going to add here to now the settings, settings icon as it is. You can take a look at this setting icon as well as the next one, which is the vertical. And we're going to do the same for the vertical, or menu icon, because that's the true name of this. Right, menu icon.tsx. There you go. Okay. So on the menu icons, we call this menu icons, and that's it. So that was it. Almost that. Almost there. So they put it in another place, and then you got and align center and item center as it is. All right. And there you go. This is it for the navbar. Holy moly. Holy moly. All right. This is it for the navbar. Okay. So that actually takes us quite a lot of amount of time to only implement that. to only implement that layout definition. Ooh, insert. Hola Martina, ¿me escuchas? Ah, perfecto, gracias. Ahora sí. Sí, lo que pasa es que se había generado era otro link y estaba era en otro chat. O sea, estaba en otra entrevista con el link de Google. Que estaba era, déjame quitarme los auriculares acá. Ok. Ahí sí me escuchan mejor, ¿cierto? Ahí sí. Ah, ok. Ok. Ahora sí. ¿Me escuchas? No. Ok. Y ahora sí me escuchas. No. A ver. Ahora sí me debes escuchar. Perfecto. Sí. No, que generó otro link, y entonces estaba en otra Google Meet, otra entrevista de Google. Por eso. Ah, listo, listo. Más bien disculpa, por ese. Perfecto. ¿Desde qué año está fundada la compañía? Ah, listo. Listo. Ah, sus fundadores, ¿quiénes son? Creo que sí, ellos me habían mandado una notificación también. Eh, sí, en LinkedIn. Me mandó fue... Ahí te, digo, ahí te digo, ahí, ahí te digo exactamente quién fue. Eh, Carlos Frutos. Ah, perfecto, perfecto, perfecto. Bueno, comencé fue como desarrollador desde el 2017 de manera profesional, creando paneles administrativos para radios, para gestionar radios. En ese rol fue como frontend developer. Incluso ahí te lo compartí y ya está cargado en el sistema con Rooftop. Trabajé con dos colegas, uno se encargaba de la parte del backend y el otro se encargaba era de la parte de la arquitectura. Luego, después de eso, trabajé entonces de manera independiente por un par un par de años ah, para clientes entonces en Estados Unidos. Selvin Code era uno de ellos, Blackfly Software era otro, en el cual eh, yo ahí, mi rol era ya de software engineer, principalmente tanto el frontend y ahora con el backend, eh, para crearles, en el caso de Selvin, una aplicación que pudieran ellos ver en sus kioscos, que allá en Estados Unidos es bastante famoso eso, es un portal en el cual tú puedes hacer zoom, ah, zoom in y zoom out, ¿no? Acercar y alejar para los mapas de Cargill, que es esta compañía alimenticia. Y en el caso por lo menos de Blackfly Software, les ayudé fue a crear un panel administrativo que pudiera entonces rastrear el tiempo de espera que estaba en un camión afuera de un galpón, ¿no? Entonces yo la creé justamente el panel administrativo utilizando Vue al principio, después migramos para React eh, y también en la parte del backend a la hora de almacenar toda esa información utilizando Postgres y como servidor Node, ¿no? Entonces después trabajé también como para otra startup, Toolbox, por 2 años, y ahí mi rol fue de Tech Lead. Al principio fui contratado como software y después me promovieron fue a Tech Lead, que en ese momento, bueno, estaba encargado era de no solamente el desarrollo de la parte de la interfaz de usuario para este chat que estábamos construyendo, para hablar con coaches y estudiantes, ¿ok? Sino que también estaba en la parte del backend para, bueno, procesar todos esos mensajes, en este caso, a la hora de mandar un mensaje, reaccionar a un mensaje, enviar un mensaje de audio o de imagen, descargar esos mensajes de audio o imagen para eh, el coach, en este caso a la hora del chat, similar a un chat de WhatsApp. Y en la parte del backend, bueno, utilizamos fue Node, Express, eh, um, Docker para containerizarla. Utilizamos la arquitectura MVC, utilizamos RESTful, utilizamos GraphQL, también Para hablar con la base de datos utilizamos un ORM llamado SQLite, para hablar en este caso con Postgres, eh, y también con MongoDB, particularmente con el servicio de Firebase que proveen ellos para hablar con la base de datos, no SQL, y desplegar la aplicación al principio con Google Cloud Platform, pero terminamos utilizando es AWS, ¿no? Utilizamos eh, um, funciones de lambda para ejecutar ciertas operaciones ahí. eh, y la otra fue cloud, eh, Dios mío, son varias cosas a la vez. Eh, para desplegar la aplicación utilizamos Dios santo, ah, eh, Dios mío, y eso que fue un dolor de cabeza. Eh, Amplify, correcto. Para entonces es utilizar los servicios que ellos exponen, en este caso del servidor, de backend principalmente y de autenticación, con Cognito, AWS Cognito. Entonces, bueno, pudimos desplegarlo con los servidores de AWS. Entonces, en ese momento yo estaba encargado justamente prácticamente del tech lead del frontend, el backend, orientado también a desarrollarme en el frontend, más que todo fue. Y en el caso con mi última experiencia con RecipeKit fue ayudándolos es a migrar su aplicación de Vue a React, ¿ok? Mejorando la interfaz de usuario que ellos tenían en su aplicación de Shopify, ¿ok? En la plataforma Shopify. Eh, y también trabajando con Ruby para todo lo que es más que todo iniciar el servicio con Shopify. eh, y a partir de ahí entonces con la parte del backend referente a lo que es eh, hablar con la base de datos con Postgres e incluso mejorarle su rendimiento, que es algo que lo tengo por acá. Incluso documenté ese proceso, te lo comparto por acá como parte del portafolio, y que fue justamente la manera en la cual yo le pude reducir a ellos uh, su, su bundle, su paquete, en un 29.17% y con eso mejorar el rendimiento de la aplicación como tal. Porque tenía era un contrato de 6 meses con ellos y luego se extendió a 3 meses. Y bueno, y decidí entonces tomar unas vacaciones porque había estado trabajando corrido, sin parar. Sí, por supuesto. Cuando trabajamos con AWS, bueno, los clientes que he trabajado últimamente han sido en inglés, entonces, very, very good. Very. Totally, totally. Absolutely, absolutely. Yes. La comunicación, porque eso nos ayuda es a facilitarnos nuestro trabajo y con eso le podemos entonces proveer valor al cliente y resolver sus problemas de manera más rápida. Depende, si es algo que le puedo preguntar o consultar a alguien más, trato. voy y consulto. Ah, si es algo en lo cual, incluso consultando a los otros, ah, no me dan respuestas que son relevantes para el problema, entonces, bueno, trato de meditar. La meditación ayuda enormemente. Y vuelvo nuevamente a, a afrontar el problema, pero esta vez ya mucho más despejado. Bueno, que tengo justamente un horario llamado time blocking, que son bloques de horario, justamente por eso es que ahorita tengo esta entrevista contigo en este momento. Y hasta las 2:30, 2:35 todavía tengo la oportunidad para seguir comentando. Y bueno, eso me ha ayudado a mí enormemente a priorizar primero las tareas del cliente y luego las tareas a la hora de comunicarme con la empresa. Y por último, capacitarme porque es súper importante para estar actualizado en esta industria. No, voy directamente con las fuentes. Accedo directamente a las fuentes. Accedo directamente a las fuentes. Los líderes de la industria. Ejemplo, Will Senten, Brian Hall, ah, Scott Moss, personas que han trabajado justamente en varias de estas compañías, ejemplo, Netflix, Microsoft, y que no solamente tienen cursos en varias de estas plataformas, o From el Master o CodeSmith, sino también son personas que siguen en la industria y dan justamente su experiencia basado en todo el dolor que han aprendido a lo largo de esto. Popularidad, comunidad y... Sí, popularidad, comunidad y, y tiempo que tenga la tecnología en el mercado. Sí, maduración como tal. Principalmente a la hora de integrar es pruebas unitarias y pruebas de snapshot, de captura, utilizando VTest, que es justamente ahora esta nueva manera, bueno, es una manera más rápida en la industria de ejecutar estas tareas como tal. Tareas unitarias, por ejemplo. Tanto para RecipeKit, que lo implementamos, como para Toolbox, para Journey, la aplicación del chat. Principalmente en el ámbito de React Native, si se puede. Am, Ahorita, como tal, sí. Por ahora, sí. Paso a paso, paso a paso. Por supuesto, por supuesto. Dedicado justamente a todo lo que es el ecosistema de JavaScript. Y parte del ecosistema de JavaScript es, bueno, React, Node y React Native. Son esos, por supuesto. Que exista comunicación en el front. Audaz, comunicativo y responsable. La paciencia conmigo mismo. A la hora de que uno siempre quiere las cosas un poco más rápido de lo que son, pero tiene su tiempo. No tanto ansiedad, pero sí paciencia, más que todo. Es paciencia. Sí, salir a caminar, escuchar varios podcasts, por lo menos en el caso del ámbito de tecnología, de finanzas y de salud en Argentina. Cabo. ¿El tiempo que tomaría ese proceso, cuánto sería? Perfecto. En este caso sería la modalidad de trabajo. La modalidad de trabajo. Ok. Eh, Perfecto. ¿El nombre del cliente o esa compañía? ¿Cuál sería? Oh, ok. Ok. No, no. Ok. Ok. Sí, sí, lo he escuchado. Sí, totalmente. Y disculpa que te interrumpa. ¿Cuál sería el rol al cual ellos están buscando? Ok. Perfecto. Senior. Ok. Adelante. Si podría ser a partir de 3.500.000, sería un buen lugar porque también me gustaría es dedicarme es a laburar como tal. y que también esto es una decisión familiar que estoy tomando. Entonces, si pudiéramos buscar ese acuerdo, ese punto inicial de 3.500.000, sería excelente porque así entonces cada quien recibe lo que necesita. Entonces, yo puedo justamente trabajar y dedicarle cuerpo, tiempo y alma al proyecto con el cliente de Naranja X. Y bueno, y también recibo una compensación necesaria y adecuada a lo que estoy ofreciendo. Ok. Y si es, bueno, si se puede, claro, la idea es con eso es de que antes de ir a estas pruebas técnicas, ver si ellos pueden por lo menos optar a eso, ¿no? Porque justamente para evitar tenernos que estar perdiendo tiempo con eso, o sea, bien, podemos hacer las pruebas técnicas, pero de nuevo, es eso, es tiempo. Eh, ok, ok. Bueno, de nuevo, ok, perfecto. Bueno, otras preguntitas aquí. Los métodos de pago sí serían, bueno, a través como es dependencias, a través del banco. ah, Serían los 15, ¿no? Cada 15. Cada, ok, serían mensuales los pagos. Correcto. Y ok. Y me dijiste que con posibilidad de ajuste cada 3 meses. ¿Esos ajustes, a dónde cuál sería la tasa de los ajustes? Ok, ok, ¿y se hace un promedio o cómo sería el proceso? Ok, listo, ok, ok, perfecto, perfecto. Eh, en este caso, ¿no dan algún tipo de equipo para trabajar con ellos? ¿De qué equipo estaríamos hablando? Perfecto. Entonces me dijiste que el proceso de entrevista sería primero contigo, una primera instancia, luego la entrevista técnica, oral, con uno de los miembros de Rooftop. Luego de eso sería entonces una entrevista con el cliente, quizás a lo mejor técnica o no. Eh, ok, Perfecto. Ah, no, no, tengo disponibilidad inmediata. Si puede ser el lunes a las 4 de, a ponerle el lunes a las 3 de la tarde sería excelente. Perfecto. Sí, listo, listo, perfecto. Bueno, no, es más que todo como preguntas eh, de la empresa. ¿Cuántas personas ahorita están trabajando para Rooftop? Oh, ok, listo, listo. Wow. Mm, claro, de nuevo, como están comenzando, o como estamos comenzando, porque prácticamente trabajaría ya con ustedes. Eh, y claro que como estamos comenzando, porque ya prácticamente trabajaría con ustedes, o bueno, esa es mi intención. Perfecto, perfecto. Bueno, sí, si tienes alguna otra duda, para nada. Todo quedó excelente y claro. Excelente, Martín, excelente. Listo, perfecto. Bueno, que tengas feliz tarde. Y me imagino que ya, no sé si tú comiste, pero ya yo voy a comer ahorita. Almorzar. Igual, hasta luego, chao, chao. fully.